The whispering rain. The rain had begun as a gentle drizzle, a soft pattering against the cabin's wooden roof. Daniel reclined in his chair by the window, watching the mist roll in over the dense forest beyond the lake. He had come here to escape, to clear his head, to let the steady rhythm of the rain lull him into peace. But the forest had other plans. The deeper the night stretched, the harder the rain fell. The air carried an odd scent, something damp and earthy, but tinged with decay. It reminded him of forgotten basements and old books left to rot. With every crack of thunder, something shifted in the distance, a faint movement in the rain. As the rain intensified, so did the sound. At first, Daniel thought it was simply the wind through the trees, but then he noticed something different. The raindrops were whispering. At first, it was subtle, soft murmurs carried on the wind, but soon, the whispers became distinct words, hushed voices calling from the storm. They spoke in broken fragments. "Daniel, come, listen." He shuddered, pressing his hands against his ears. It had to be the wind, just his tired mind playing tricks. But when he turned back toward the window, he saw something standing at the edge of the trees, a tall, gaunt figure, just barely visible through the sheets of falling rain. It didn't move. It only watched. Daniel's heart pounded. He reached for the flashlight on the table, his fingers trembling. When he shone it toward the tree line, the figure was gone. The rain swallowed it whole. Breathing heavily, he backed away from the window. The whispers continued, growing clearer. A woman's voice now, sweet and sorrowful. "Let me in." A loud knock came from the door. He spun around, his body frozen with fear. The rain lashed against the windows, the wind howling like a wounded beast. Another knock, slow, deliberate. "Please," the voice whispered, "let me in, Daniel." He hadn't told anyone he was coming here. No one should know his name. Memories clawed their way to the surface, memories he had buried deep. The lake, the accident. The woman's voice sounded eerily familiar now. "You left me." The rain sighed through the cracks of the cabin. Daniel staggered back as the door creaked open on its own. Cold air rushed inside, and with it came the overwhelming scent of damp earth and something rotten. He forced himself to look, even as dread curled in his stomach. She stood there, drenched, broken, her hollow eyes fixed on him. "You let me drown." Lightning flashed, illuminating her waterlogged form, pale skin, tangled hair clinging to her face, lips parted in an eternal gasp. Daniel screamed as the rain surged inward, swallowing him whole. Daniel awoke to darkness. The cabin was gone. The walls, the furniture, everything had dissolved into the endless downpour. He was lying in the water now, floating in the lake he had once feared. The sky above was a swirling mass of storm clouds, endless and unrelenting. He tried to move, but his limbs were heavy. The water held him like unseen hands, keeping him suspended just beneath the surface. He gasped, but the air was thick with rain, filling his lungs with ice. Then he saw her again. The woman drifted toward him, her eyes empty voids that pulled at his soul. She reached out, fingers brushing his cheek. "No more running, Daniel." He tried to speak, to beg, but the water filled his throat. Her fingers curled around his wrist, and with a single pull, she dragged him beneath the surface. Days passed. The storm never stopped. Hikers found the abandoned cabin, its door hanging open, rainwater pooling inside. They searched for Daniel, but there was no sign of him, only his flashlight, flickering weakly near the shore of the lake. At night, when the rain fell hardest, travelers near the cabin swore they could hear whispers carried by the wind, a soft, sorrowful voice calling from the water. And when they listened too closely, they always saw a figure standing at the edge of the lake, watching, waiting. Weeks passed, and the legend of Daniel's disappearance spread. Some said he had been claimed by the lake, his spirit forever trapped in the endless storm. Others believed the woman had been waiting for him all along, a ghostly lover pulling him into the depths as payment for his sins. Then one night, Another visitor arrived at the cabin, a lone traveler seeking refuge from the storm. He built a fire, unaware of the whispers creeping through the rain. As he dozed off, a slow, deliberate knock echoed from the door. He turned toward the sound, the hairs on his arms rising. A voice, gentle and sorrowful, sighed through the rain. "Let me in."